Hello everyone, in this video I'd like to show you how I managed to reach the rank of the 6th queue by beating the GnuGo playing program, which is not the neural network based one. This is a good old GnuGo, which from not very long time ago has become the part of the OGS bot suite. So it has been added recently. And I've been showing the games I've been playing versus GnuGo in the past within this playlist. In particular, start instance where when I just started playing Go like a couple of years ago, and since then there were some videos covering my games. But recently, I've managed to sort of crack its code or algorithm. You may treat it as you like. Well, as a programmer, I was interested in GnuGo's source code and documentation, essentially like uh, how it works internally. And after inspecting the documentation, after realizing the algorithms behind it and how it thinks, I was able to find some weak points in the algorithm. And I'd like to emphasize those weak points in this video in particular. And obviously, probably one of the strongest engines today, KataGo. When I've been running some games, KataGo versus GnuGo, it gave me a clue in regards to how to approach GnuGo and essentially revealing the weak spots of the GnuGo. So again, like I did realize those weak points exist, but my Go skills didn't allow me to find the particular path to how I can exploit those weaknesses. While KataGo has shown me how that can be done, and I have a separate video on that. So after that, I've managed to master this sort of a trick or principle, and by applying this trick, I can now win whatever game against GnuGo using this matter of being able to exploit weaknesses the GNU engine has. And yeah, I want to show you 5 games, and one, two, three, four, five, 6 games, yeah. And I would be trying to bring some commentaries during showing the games, but also probably by the end of the video, I would like to try to explain how, like, from the perspective of the technology of the algorithm itself, why this sort of behavior is possible and why this trick actually works. So that's quite important, and why this trick would not work against neural network based engines. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Now, I will be showing games in a separate it's back a GUI essentially. That's the GUI for to run the GDP engines, and also you can watch the SGF games. The reason why I'm not showing this within the OGS itself because of annoying AI analysis, which I have no idea how to turn off. But anyway, so this is the first game. I'm playing black. All of the games I'm playing black, but really color doesn't really matter that much because this principle is applied regardless of color. Although I didn't try this with white stones, but it must be really, really similar. So we kickstart. Black starts with the star points. Very common Joseki these days. It's not Joseki, Fuseki probably is the best term. And here GnuGo plays 3-3, which is quite a rare move, I would say. But yeah, people play that way as well. So I continue with the KataGo signature move, the early 3-3 invasion. And usually here, so white to nuke it here, which is not really good because of the follow-up. So usually Joseki is played here. I will show this just once, so there might be different variations, like for instance this one, or some other continuation. So now white can probably, yeah, white need to push one more time. Now black can do this, and usually after, well, I'm not quite sure, but guess somewhere in this area is the good place to play a black stone. Like, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not an expert. I'm not sure. But anyway, so a Joseki should have been played in the corner. That's the basic idea. But GnuGo doesn't go for that. It doesn't play a Joseki in the corner. Instead, it's doing the Tanuki move in here. And this allows the following sequence. So what black achieves here, black encloses the corner. But moreover, what black is aiming for. So already this group is going to be a weak group if otherwise gets surrounded. So we know the tactical technique that is known a net, when you can surround a stone, but this can also be applied to capture groups. So if you just put some stones around the group, sort of forming the net, that's exactly the same principle. It just takes longer um, to work and takes more moves, but the principle is essentially the same. So you limit the ways out of a group so that it cannot come out uh, off your net, and also if it's limited enough, there is no enough space for making two eyes. So that's the general principle. And this is the exact principle that would be applied over and over again in every single game. So let's go further on. So white makes a base, which is very common. So now the next black move. So we still developing the lower side, since this stone is in 4/4, it doesn't have any preferences in regards to the particular direction, so it may go here as well as here. But the idea that we want to build some moyo in this area, that's the general idea. So again, for GnuGo, if you play too close to opponent's stones, it would invoke the tactical threat mechanism within the algorithm, and it would start thinking if the group is in danger and if you need to urgently play something to save that group. So that's how the algorithm is working. However, if you play sort of far away enough from the group, it feels like, okay, this group is totally safe. It can escape to the center. It can do whatever. It can make a living shape, try to make an eye shape, whatever. So it's not concerned about this group, and essentially, it doesn't really have to be concerned about this group at this particular point. But the problem is that he's playing just based on the general observation. So if we compare this to chess, what GnuGo does, it just develops the knight, develops the bishops, queens, rooks, castling. So all of that, but general purpose principles may not be a good idea if you have a particular forcing variation that leads to winning material or to a checkmate or whatever. Same principle is applied in Go as well. So if you play from the, like, if you both play from the general perspective, then yeah, GnuGo may be better because it just calculates better. But if you're applying what I'm calling like done level thinking principles, well, essentially, I've seen those principles by watching games when KataGo is playing against GnuGo, which was already covered in the previous video. So anyway, we'll get to this soon. So GnuGo seems to be making quite a reasonable move, approaching the corner, probably from the right side because it's not going to be doing this from here, although it sometimes does go from here as well. And now black is starting to build a framework, build a move. Another move would be in here. Another move would be here. So this pattern repeats in every single game, almost in every single game. So whenever you have the 4/4 stone and you're playing against GnuGo, this is very common pattern that I've discovered on my own. Thankfully to KataGo, but the exact order of moves and the exact placement of stones is something that I've discovered on my own. This works like a charm perfectly well against GnuGo in all occasions. Now, GnuGo pinces, but yeah, so from the perspective of having a weak stone in the corner and trying to pincer it, trying to grab the corner, this is sort of a good thing. But from the overall board perspective and realizing that, well, essentially all this may become black's territory one day, this move might not be considered very smart. So anyway, for now, black simply ignores the threat. So probably if next move white played somewhere in here, trying to limit the scope of this stone so that it cannot divide black group, then maybe that would be absolutely fine for whites. But again, the limitations of algorithms and not allowing it to do so. So after this move, he finally sees the particular threat that this group may eventually get captured. So it starts taking actions in order to make an eye for a group. And there is a rule that you need to allow your opponent to make one eye, and he sort of gets calm after, because if you try to kill the group straight away without giving an option to make even one eye, then usually this may end up badly. So you need to allow your opponent to make one eye. This would make him calm and happy. So I allow him making one eye. Well, although this is not one eye technically, so he needs to put a couple more stones to make it an eye because it might turn into a ko. But anyway, this I think this can be evaluated as half an eye. And after this move, we are looking to enclose this group so that it doesn't have way out. So white is not going to extend here and attach to this stone. Now, another approach, which is reasonable move to develop the side, this side in particular. So here we come close so that white would not be capable of going here. And after white makes a base happily again. So from the perspective of the general considerations, making a base is really a good thing. Yeah. So I'm explaining this just once because this pattern again it would be appearing over and over again within the next games. And after this move, we essentially enclose this group. And although KataGo shows that there are some tricky moves like playing here, for instance, and well, essentially if you're not like if you're playing versus human, it's very likely that most skilled human player would be capable of saving this group somehow. But in a case of GnuGo, this particular pattern it considers this group to be already dead. And the reason, like how he justifies his very own advantage, he says like, okay, you get all this, but I got this side, and now I'm about to get the entire corner. So we are about equal despite the fact that I've lost a few stones here. So that's the logic of the GnuGo's algorithm. So now this move, again, just follows the philosophy that I've just described, just trying to emphasize that, okay, we just get this corner and we would be equal in territory. But again, this is not very good continuation because it should have just isolated this stone instead. So instead of dealing with this one, he already has this one approach from both sides. So it's really time to start attacking this one little stone and trying to conquer the corner. But it doesn't do this, and this allows, and it doesn't do this all of the time for some unknown reason. Maybe that's a bug, maybe, I don't know. So this allows the escape, and the escape targets the idea of building the wall like this, so that this huge amount of territory would also be under the black's influence. And now again, instead of trying to sort of split this group and this group, white is emphasizing that, okay, we just want to equalize, we want to get some territory in the corner. Black approach, and again, white is trying to make territory in the corner, which is good, but this allows black to keep going with its plan and continue connecting to the main group, enlarging the moyo significantly. So instead of try to make some territory in the corner, it's much better, say, to attach from this side and start trying to split this group from this one at any cost. Start a fire here, essentially. That's something that a human player would do. So all the down player games, they are all about like one is trying to enlarge the moyo and close more and more, another is trying to prevent that, hence the fighting, and whoever wins the fight wins the game. That's the simple idea. But GnuGo as an entity of the Q player thinking, as an instance of the Q player thinking, it just tries to grab some territory, and it cannot evaluate at the moment how horrible and crushing this what black does here is, because it sees like that essentially what he considers to be black's territory is only this, right? Because this is just the influencer, right? This is also just the influence according to GnuGo. And he says white has territory here, white has territory here, white has territory here. So yeah, essentially white is better. That's what white is thinking. Yeah, so just a few more moves to build another wall of influence here. And again, we would be connecting towards the center. And now, just to make sure, this honey makes sure that this white group in the corner and this stone would never get connected. And then we go for this 4-4, all right? And now another idea is arising. So we want to cut this group from this group. And the idea is to have even more. So it's like a pie that we just cut piece by piece from that particular pie. So now White suddenly realizes that things are bad and it's time to try to save the group. But it turns out to be too late. All right, so after this move, again, the next move, so all the idea is just to, you see, we have another piece of territory. Again, as a base, this might be good if it has some connections to this, like if it can escape to the center, connect to its friends, but just a two-space jump on its own is not a live shape, so it cannot make live here. So this essentially is dead now. This is now essentially dead, right? And we play another important safety move. So after this move, this group is like almost 100% dead. And then just limiting white space even more. Just a few more moves. And few more moves. So white is trying to make an attempt to connect. So probably instead of playing this one, maybe white should just cut. But maybe that doesn't work tactically, I'm not sure. Right? And here, after this move, believe it or not, GnuGo resigns. Because if we have a look at the territory estimation, although the territory estimator thinks that this is a live stone, yeah, this thinks this is a live stone, seemingly white is winning. But from the GnuGo's perspective, this is dead, and essentially this is dead. As well as this is dead, okay? And as well as this is also dead. And essentially black has plus 46.5, which is crushingly winning and no particular chance to do anything about this. Was very least within the range of the GnuGo algorithm. Well, obviously, if a stronger engine, like if KataGo was playing white and me playing black, definitely I would make a mistake and KataGo would live with all of its groups and I'd just get crushed because of not having any territory at all. But yeah, so this is not about the plain strength in Go. I'm not about to claim myself a sixth queue. I'm just about to claim that GnuGo is claimed to be a sixth queue by the creators of the GnuGo. And beating GnuGo, like formally, this means that if you beat a 6Q player, then you become a 6Q, right? But again, beating GnuGo doesn't mean that I can beat 6Q player, human 6Q player. Well, that's not so for sure. I can do something, but not as much. But yeah, anyway, this means that like I've mastered the Krakenov algorithm. So now we'll show you how this particular idea, that in this game the idea is implemented the best ever way you can implement the idea. The rest of the games, there is only one more game that ends up with GnuGo resignation. The rest of the games I just win by points because I didn't manage to find the best moves to force winning by resignation. Anyway, still, this is like the basic pattern that would be appearing in every next game. So let's open the second game. I would be going faster through the rest of the games because, again, I'll just explain the principle once and then it would be repeating over and over again. So again, I'm playing black, and you may notice that the only difference that this stone is not on 3-3, but now it's on here 3, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4. Yeah. And here I approach from another side, which probably is not really that great. But if you have a look at the position of the stones, you would notice that essentially it's just rotated 90 degrees, okay? And the pattern repeats exactly the same. You see, I have this enclosure in an exactly the same manner as before, all right? So, you see, the idea works exactly the same. And trying the wall of influence in here also works exactly the same, right? But unfortunately for me, GnuGo has managed to grab quite a lot. And because of that, it didn't resign. So we kept playing until this territories has been established and formed to the very end. And here I just win by points. So if we estimate this, again, this is that for sure. So I won by 20.5 points. So that's the idea. Then probably I was tired because the results in terms of how many points I got kept going down. But I also won another game that I won by resignation. So just want to show you that very quickly. So the third game, just want to give you an idea, guys, that all the games, they go like okay, yeah, this one is a little bit different. So how this game is different is because it doesn't have the full 4 stone in neither of the star points. So here the continuation is a little bit different, but notice, so I play Pip, and the idea is if I manage to put the stone here, then I can potentially grab the entire downside. So what white should play in this situation, it should just connect, and my plan would not work. So this would be isolated, and here white can develop the bottom very nicely. But after white allowed me this, essentially, no matter he created the base here. The idea is very similar. So you see, like, I do enclose these 3 stones in exactly the same manner I did earlier. And in regards to these guys, it's also like, yeah, this would essentially live. This would essentially, but this is very isolated, and that's not good. So essentially, the game went like this. So the implementation of the principle wasn't as clear as in the previous games. So white did manage to live on the bottom. But the idea is quite similar. So we have some tag groups here and here. And eventually the score is, no, this is that. Black plus 16.5, right? So let's go further on. And we go to game number 4. Okay, game number 4. I don't quite remember how this one ends up. Yeah, so we've seen this pattern already, but this time I approached from the right side. So I was approaching from the left side, I approached from the bottom. Okay, and you see exactly the same pattern again. Although this time white played much better in the corner, so it's trying to split this black group from this one. So sometimes it's more smart and tries to do the right thing. However, this didn't quite help black to win, because this may become dead quite soon. All right, and even though this group is trying to make life, still, well, after this move, it's very hard to make a life here. And again, here, instead of playing here, it should have just played this move, and this white group would be alive, but it didn't do so. So after this move, it's very hard to make life for this group. So now again, the entire half of the board goes to black. Also, black has this corner. And although the game wasn't as crushing as previous games, still it's won. And let's see by how many points, estimate. It's won by, so these stones are dead. By 6.5, by 6.5, this is like the value of Komi essentially. Although there was 7.5 Komi for whites in Chinese rules. But anyway, this is like exactly the same principle that we've seen earlier. All right, so let's go further on. So let's go further on, and now I want to open the fifth game. This one. Yeah, I think this is won by resignation, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so we see. So now this one is different. That we have the square. This stone was here. It was here. Now it's here. But again, since we have the 4/4 stone, the idea works exactly the same. You see, exactly the same pattern over and over again. Exactly the same scenario of cutting these two stones. So we've seen this many times earlier, you see? We have seen this many times earlier. And now this is also dead, you see? Oh, this is cool. So if white didn't play this move, because capturing this stone is not as valuable as losing this entire group, because this is so horrible. So why should he play here? And then he probably had a chance to make two eyes. It didn't. And after this group, after this move, this group is most likely dead. Although it tries to save it, but yeah. And now, yeah, after this move, essentially, GnuGo has resigned. So that's another game that ended up with resignation. Yeah, because the score is so crushing. So just to give an idea, so if we estimate the score here, so essentially this belongs to black, as well as this, as well as this, as well as this. So plus 63. So probably the most crushing score so far. Yeah, although this is arguable, this is still like to be, the territory is still to be defined here. But essentially, like black is crushingly winning this game. So this is probably one of the best examples so far. And finally, the last game, probably with the smallest 3.5 points only, if I'm not mistaken. Let's have a look. Downloads, this one. So we have exactly the same scenario. So like it seems like it's the same game all over and over again. All right. So it's very similar. You see, like still taking this, still breaking this, but in this case, I also tried to grab this group, but I failed doing this. And since I failed doing this, it was alive later, so I didn't make most accurate moves. And after this kind of continuation, I think I'm winning only by 3.5 points, if I'm not mistaken. So here, essentially, this is very close to be even. Okay, and if we have a look at the final estimation, black only plus 2.5, so it's almost even. It's almost even because the amount of territory the white get is also very significant. And just because I killed something, just because I have more dead stones than he has, essentially that makes me a winner of this game. So guys, what kind of summary can we get from this? So what all this means? So how to beat GnuGo? either if you're playing it locally or if you're playing at OGS. That's quite simple. So if you watch the video where I've been breaking down the algorithm of how GnuGo actually works, it's explaining more details because I'm providing the actual documentation that you can find online for GnuGo. But in short, the idea is following. So GnuGo is not sensible to figuring out just right on time when its group is dead. And to make sure that would be the case, if you're trying to sort of attack GnuGo's group, you need to put the stones uh, far away enough so that its algorithm doesn't see the particular threat. And then you need a very precise timing for limiting the scope of where the group can escape later in the game. So that when GNU goes realizes that it has lost its group, it's of too late. So that's the major plan. So if you're making like big moves, like wide moves, and not getting into the tactical debate, in this case, you have all the chances to cut this pie, and you just get in more and more and more. And if you capture enough groups, then GnuGo would simply resign. That's the very simple strategy that you can apply if you want to win versus GnuGo at OGS, no matter the color you play. So it just takes some time to practice. And if my games were not representative enough or not like for those real Go players, not like me, but for those real Go players, you might have noticed that there might be many like tones of tactical discussions of like you think you kill this group, you have to prove this. Are you really sure? Yeah, but well, GnuGo calculates much better than I do, so it sees that it cannot do things, so it just accepts that its groups are dead. So that's it. So again, beating the GnuGo, which is ranked as 6Q, as well as the documentation state. So this is very, I would say this is a very precise ranking for the engine. So GnuGo may beat 7th Q, 8th Q, 5th Q, even 6th Q. If you have a look at the games of GnuGo at OGS, you may see that with your own eyes. But I can beat GnuGo using this trick. But this doesn't mean that I can beat those players that GnuGo can. Yeah, so that's the trick. That's the simple trick. So beating GnuGo and achieving this rank, it's not doesn't mean that I am 6th Q. I'm not. But this means that I've cracked the GnuGo's algorithm, which allowed me to, yeah, sort of have the same rank as it has. That's the end of the story, essentially. Um, yeah, and quite interestingly, well, probably just just one last thing as a little bonus. So when I realized, so after playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games, I've realized that I can be GnuGo in whatever position. But at this point, I was still 7th Q, so I want to have this 6th Q. So the last game I cheated, I used KataGo to be GnuGo. But I also want to show you this game. I also want to show you this game because uh, this game shows the original idea that I have derived from KataGo in regards to how to beat GnuGo. So KataGo is playing black, GnuGo is playing white, and well, obviously KataGo does the same thing I do, but also bearing in mind all the possible tactical complications, it can handle them perfectly well. Okay, so we've seen a similar continuation in one of my games. right? But not like this. So without commenting that much, I just want to emphasize the following. So this group is weak. It's not even a group, it's just a single stone, as well as this one is weak. So the idea that GnuGo really needs to try to capture this and try to capture this. So it needs to split, it needs to build in a similar way I did. Okay? So again, although the base is established here, so until there is an escape towards the center, it's fine. But once there is no escape, this would be bad. So this move is very like representative. So just doesn't allow this white square to escape, and trying to build a base and trying to live here is probably next to impossible if you're playing against KataGo, very least. Right? So here, KataGo doesn't build this influence that I was doing. It just takes the corner, builds nice Steingarth mouse. Yeah. Obviously, it plays much better. So yeah, still GnuGo is trying to make a base, although this is not essentially going anywhere. But it still tries to, as well. It tries to make this one alive. But again, it's just simple moves. Okay, another 3/3 invasion. So we just have a living group on the top left corner. And after this move, essentially, so here is the deal. Here is the deal. So GnuGo thinks in terms of territory. He thinks like, okay, I can go into your corner and I can take your entire corner. But it doesn't realize that it will cost it losing this whole lot of territory and also this group. And in exchange, this is much worse for whites, for GnuGo. So after this move, this group has no way out, essentially. Just a few more moves to make sure that, yeah, so now this is not going anywhere. And trust me, KataGo would not allow this group to live. Okay, so another moves. KataGo would show a masterpiece on the top of the board by killing a lot there as well. So unlikely me, unlikely what I do, KataGo is very, it's very common to see KataGo essentially actually going into the tactical debate and wins it always, for sure. So a few more moves and we have a similar scenario that has been appearing in my game. So this group is now isolated. If white plays here, black attacks. If white plays here, black just splits. So this group is no longer alive. Maybe if white play here, maybe it could live, but it would lose all the rest of territory in that case. So it's not an option either. Now, you see what a fantastic thing KataGo does. So it just says, okay, maybe I just take everything, you know. So it's even more crushing. It's much more crushing as opposed to what I do in my games. And yeah, GnuGo keeps playing, but after a few moves, it will resign, realizing that essentially this is not going anywhere. Okay. And takes, and this fantastic Tsuji killing the entire white group. Okay, there is a coaster, but yeah, after this move, yeah, GnuGo realizes that this group is also dead. So black is taken, and let me just show you the score estimation just to give you an idea what is treated to be dead. So this is also treated to be dead. Yes, I don't understand why. Now it just doesn't show this properly. So yeah, this is that. Obviously, this is that. So all this is black territory, and this group. Well, I think it should be that. Anyway, see, like the particular territory that white has managed to get is what a few points here and a few points here, maybe a couple of points here. The rest is taken by black. So it's like this is the high level implementation of the idea. But again, even a noob like me who doesn't really know how to play Go may find a way to beat GnuGo. But if I play if I play GnuGo like not knowing this is GnuGo, if I was thinking I'm playing a human player, I would not manage to do this, because if I play like my usual noobs go, then just outplays me, just has better influence, just has like better tactically, better in every single aspect of the game. Yes, but if you know for sure that's the GnuGo, if you know this, if you have this tool to apply, like how to do things, then you can beat it as well. So a little bit of training, and you will be capable of beating GnuGo every single time you're playing a game against it. So if you want to keep your rank at a level of the sixth queue, then beating GnuGo might be an option. But again, I need to emphasize that this does not mean that if you are, say, you are like 10th queue, ninth queue, 8th queue, 7th queue, say. So beating GnuGo would not allow you to beat 6th queue. If you couldn't beat the 6th queue before beating GnuGo, you would not be capable of beating 6th queue after beating GnuGo. This, on the other hand, may improve your understanding of the game slightly, and I believe this is beneficial anyway, but it's not the matter of practical playing strength. And again, it's more about hacking and cracking the algorithm than playing Go. So hope you won't hate me for this, because I really wanted to show the limits of the non-neural network approach towards the game of Go, which is clearly seen within these games. And finally, when the neural networks are actually involved, they can do this exact thing that I've been demonstrating in my games, and KataGo demonstrates in its game even better, combining both tactical, strategical, and all the possible aspects of the game into one, coming up with the strongest performance possible, easily beating human players if needed. So yeah, guys, this is it from my side. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.